My name is Chris, and today we're going to talk about how to keep your records clean. Welcome to the Vinyl Attack. As stated by a great many people over the years, clean records are paramount to good sound in your system. The absolute fastest way to substandard performance and hence less fun listening to your favorite music is a dirty record. I've talked about it at length in the past, and I'm here to bring it up once more in the shape of the Record Doctor 10 motorized vacuum record cleaner. In my experience, the vast majority of people start off with a spin clean or some practically identical variant for their first foray into cleaning their records. They've come far enough along in their journey to realize that keeping their collection clean is important, and the spin clean is an affordable and readily available first step. This should be lauded rather than mocked, as I've actually seen online, because these people are trying to make improvements to their sound, and budget is always an issue. Moving up from there, or perhaps you may just have a larger starting budget, would come something like the Record Doctor 6. This is a manual vacuum machine that does a fine job, as seen in my previous review, and costs a very respectable $300. I like this machine and trust it so much that I gave one to my very own daughter as she starts down her own record collecting path. She wanted something effective and easy to use, and the RD6 fit that bill. I also don't think the no cost to her factor hurt her feelings. From here, most people start looking at what I consider to be the pinnacle of record cleaning, ultrasonic. This, however, is a very contentious issue. While there's no question in my mind that ultrasonic cleaning is simply head and shoulders above anything else, there are still considerations to be had, mainly in terms of cost and unit quality. In my opinion, the only company that is doing ultrasonic properly right now is DeGritter, but that machine costs over $3,000. So is there nothing between the affordable RD6 and the quite pricey DeGritter that can do an effective job of cleaning while still being easy to use, motorized, and reasonably priced? Thankfully, that's precisely where I find the Record Doctor 10 to sit. If you watch my review of the RD6, you'll have heard me say that the only real critique I had was that the unit wasn't powered. That is to say, you have to manually turn the dial to rotate the records for cleaning. Now, this is in no way a bad thing or difficult task. I'm just lazy. The more automation I can get in my already manual format listening hobby, the better. As you already guessed, the RD10 is indeed self-powered, very reasonably priced for what it does at $600, and quite easy to use. The only real question here is, how well does it perform? We'll get to that shortly. First though, let's take a look at what you get with the RDX. With the exception of placing the top arm into its position, there is no assembly here out of the box to speak of. The arm swings in a predetermined arc, which I find quite intuitive and effective as well. This arcing motion helps eliminate the dirt line, which I found on the RD6. You'll want to watch that video for more details. It also comes with a lightweight but effective cover. This often overlooked yet essential piece is excellent for keeping dust off your machine, thus providing a clean area from which to start cleaning your records in the first place. This might seem like a no-brainer, but my much more expensive DeGritter didn't come with a cover, so there's that. There is an included bottle of Record Doctor's own cleaning solution to be used on the records, as well as a brush, screw-down clamp to firmly yet gently hold your record in place, and instructions on how the whole setup works. But how well does it clean? I left a couple of records out to collect dust far longer than I needed, which makes for an extreme case, and took some before and after photos using a USB microscope. Unfortunately, the overhead footage of my cleaning session was lost, so I'll have to talk you through the process via voiceover as it's happening. You'll still see just how easy it is to use, so bear with me. As you can see, the amount of dust on there is absolutely out of control. It's practically white as you look from this distance. I clamped down the top because I like to be secure when I'm cleaning the record, turned on the motor, and I must say I did pour an exorbitant amount of fluid onto the record because I was worried about the excess dust. Grab your brush, place it down, Not too hard. I did a sweeping motion again because the amount of dust here was collecting on the bristles, and I kind of scooped it off the side of the records as well. You can actually see the fluid fall just there. You won't want to do this when you're generally cleaning your records because they won't be as dirty as mine. I reversed the direction there and did a few more rotations with the brush, lightly, just getting all the dust and dirt into the mix. Unscrew the record, flip it over. Now note, there is dust and dirt on the label, but that's because I left the whole record sitting out. You won't have that issue. But then again, we're going to go through the same process. Add more fluid. I probably should have added less because this side of the record wasn't dirty, but I was a little overzealous because of side A. Once again, you're going to hit it with a brush. You may or may not choose to reverse the situation, and that's really it for cleaning. Swing over the vacuum arm, turn on the vacuum, and it does lower by itself in some situations. This one needed a little bit of help, but there it is, vacuuming both sides at the same time, which is a huge benefit. Once that's done, turn it off. The arm pops off all by itself, and that's it. Clean record. Stem to stern, that maybe took 3 to 4 minutes. As you can see, the before and after here are quite drastic. The RDX has removed almost all of the dust and debris in one cleaning. There is still a bit of a cluster to the left of the score line I made on the record to make imaging more consistent, but I'm certain that has to do with the score line itself interfering with the otherwise smooth surface on which this machine is supposed to work. With subsequent cleaning cycles through the machine, the dirt is completely negligible. I'm sure none of you will have records in this abominable condition in which I had the test record, so I wouldn't worry about the effectiveness in the least. The important takeaway from this torture test is that this machine does what it says, and it does it very well. Sonically, I obviously couldn't play the test record because of the score line, but the personal records I did clean with the RDX had absolutely improved playback. I wouldn't go so far as to say it was night and day, but you also need to keep in mind that the records I cleaned with this machine were new to begin with. The records I always purchase are cleaned as soon as I get them home. So I had to build up a collection of new test group records for the Sonic portion of this review. As you can imagine, the rigors of having to go to the record shop to buy new records to bring home was quite a burden. But that's just the lengths I go through for you, the viewer. Overall, I found the general sonic improvement to include what you'd want. Crisper highs, tight low end, and a robust midsection. Again, though, these records weren't filthy to begin with, so this is a general overall sound improvement that you should find with any clean record versus a dirty one. That is to say, don't expect the machine to perform miracles. It cleans what you give it, and it cleans it well. It doesn't repair damaged records or do your taxes. There are certainly other vacuum record cleaners on the market that are more than likely worth your consideration, I'm sure. But with the almost automated vacuum wand and the ability to vacuum both sides of the record at once, substantially reducing the amount of time spent cleaning records, coupled with the clear effectiveness of the machine shown in this video, you can be certain that the Record Doctor 10 is worth your time and money.